and welcome to the channel. If you didn't know by now, my name is Chef D, and today's recipe of the week is how to make pumpkin baked donuts gluten-free. Now, these are kind of a bit of a healthy-ish kind of fall-inspired donut. They are gluten-free, they are baked in the oven, but honestly, you're not missing out on anything. They're absolutely delicious, moist, and what I love about this is that the drizzle that I'm gonna put on top, that's maple apple syrup. Oh, guys, it is absolutely delicious. It has the maple syrup, it has apple extract, a little bit, and a hint of an orange zest. I mean, all that combination together with that beautiful pumpkin donut. Guys, I'm telling you, you are gonna love this recipe. I actually had to make like 2 batches because I know every single time I make them, like they go like this, super fast. And thankfully, as you guys know, I love Michael's, and if you guys didn't know what Michael's is, it's actually a store in the USA, and pretty much I bought these beautiful mini bundt cakes that actually were the same size as the donut maker. So I kind of wanted to get creative of it, so I will leave you a coupon code in the bottom of that link so you guys can use, you know, a coupon on these baked items or whatever kind of baked donut little holes that you find there. You can have, I believe, 10 or 20% off of your purchase. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and let's get to the clip. Let's start the recipe off with making our maple orange apple glaze and setting it aside. In a small bowl, add in your 1 cup of powdered sugar, your 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1 tablespoon of milk of choice for this recipe. I did use almond milk, but you can definitely use what you have. Now for this recipe, you can either use 2 teaspoons of apple extract or 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. This really just depends on what you have available, but honestly, the main ingredient here is the apple extract. So if you could get that, that would be amazing. You can mix this with a mini whisk like you see in the video or a regular fork until everything is nice and smooth. Finally, we are going to be zesting half an orange, which should give us about 1 tablespoon of beautiful orange zest. Like you see, I am using my microplane, but if you have a grater, then you can definitely use that as well. Mix once again and set aside for later use. For the pumpkin baked donuts, we will be starting off by mixing in our wet ingredient portion of this recipe first. In a large bowl, add in your 2 whisked eggs, then our 4 tablespoons of neutral oil. This could be vegetable, canola, grapeseed oil, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, our 1 teaspoon of either apple or orange extract. Now this is optional. And finally, we're going to be adding in our 1 cup of canned pumpkin. Mind you guys, this is pure pumpkin, not pumpkin pie filling. This is pure pumpkin. Just put everything in that bowl, and we're going to whisk this up until smooth. The final component to this wet ingredient portion of the recipe is our 2 tablespoons of orange zest. Whisk once again until smooth, and now we will begin on the dry ingredients section of this recipe. In a large bowl, add in 1.5 cups of all-purpose gluten-free flour. Next, let's add in 3/4 cup of granulated sugar, our 1 teaspoon of that beautiful pumpkin spice, because 'tis the season. And next, we're going to be adding in 1/2 teaspoon of Nathan gum. Please see the disclaimer on the screen about the Nathan gum. Add in your 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of ginger powder, the secret ingredient to kick things up. For the final ingredient, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, preferably a gluten-free baking powder. Next, we are just going to be getting our fork, and we're going to be mixing all of our dry ingredients in that bowl. For this gluten-free recipe, I really recommend just using your regular fork to mix everything up like you'll see later in the video, because we don't want the dough to toughen up. If we use a whisk or we use a stand-up mixer, what's going to happen, because we aren't using those regular flours, things will tend to get a little bit tougher, meaning the dough. Now what we're doing is we are literally adding in our wet batter ingredients into our dry ingredient bowl, and we are going to be doing this by 2 to 3 parts or gradually. And this is really going to be the trick to making these beautiful, fluffy, gluten-free donuts. As you'll see right here, I'm really not using a lot of force with my spatula. And now we're going to be adding in our second part of the wet ingredient. As you see, I'm doing this step by step. And now that we have all of our wet batter inside that beautiful dry ingredients, now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put that spatula aside and go back to that fork and mix everything again with a fork. Remember, the less we mix it and the less we're tougher with it, the better our dough and the more fluffier our donuts will become. Now that we have our pumpkin donut batter done, let's set it aside and let's begin piping. Now, you can either use a piping bag or just a regular Ziploc bag. And like you see, I have 2 long cups, and what I'm going to do is I'm literally just putting them right in there. As you'll see, I'm expanding the plastic and I'm just covering the top of those long, tall cups, and that is where we're going to be filling in our batter. And like you see, it's just so much more simpler, less of a hassle. These, I will definitely leave a link on where I got these. These are disposable, so one time, go ahead, you take it out. If not, just use a regular Ziploc bag. If you don't want to use either or, then you can definitely just spoon in the batter onto those donut pans. But honestly, this is just so much more easier and hassle-free. Once you're done placing the dough in there, squeeze out all of the air you can and twist it up, and we're ready to go. Spray your donut pans or the little mini buns, mini donuts pan that I have, which is super cute, and you can definitely use whichever spray you have on hand. What we're going to be doing is taking that pipe, and you'll see I am cutting off the edge, and we are literally squeezing the piping bag onto that donut pan. Make sure you fill up all the cavities. Honestly, this really depends on how you want your donuts, if you really want them really, really big or really, really small. I actually did for the buns, as you see here, only halfway, not all the way to the top. But as you see in my donut pan, I actually went full throttle and just went right to the top. And this is just gonna make them so much bigger and so much more fluffier. But like you see, I have 2 different options, 2 different varieties, because yes, it can be done. You know what? I changed my mind. I kind of want to put more of that batter on my bun pan. So I'm gonna do a little bit more on that side, maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe on 2, and see how they really turn out. As you'll see later on in the video, they did actually turn out better than expected. So you can definitely put all the way to the top or just fill it halfway like you see in the video. I even went so far as to put this beautiful pumpkin batter on my little tart plates, and these are just regular fruit oven proof baked little tarts, and guys, they came out so beautiful and so delicious. This is just another variety. Now mind you, for this video I did make a double batch, so you did see in the video that I had 4 piping bags, and that's totally okay. Off to the oven to bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 14 to 17 minutes until golden brown and set. Once they are baked, allow them to cool inside the actual pan for 5 to 7 minutes before taking them out and transferring them over to your wire rack like you'll see in the video. So we want to do this by 2 steps. Allow them to cool first down for 5 to 7 minutes on the pan, and then once they're, cool enough for you to handle, then place them on your wire rack. first way is, like you see in the video, dipping the donut in that beautiful glaze, removing any excess drizzle, and then placing them right on the plate. The second option, which is my favorite, is literally spooning or ladling, if you have a small ladle, the drizzle all over the tops of those donuts. And you'll see later on in the video how I get to do this, and it is just so much fun. And this concludes this fall inspired recipe, and now I will leave you with my favorite part of any video, and that is the B-roll. That is the beautiful footage that did not make it to the beginning of the video, but now you will see the dipping, the drizzling, and all the way at the end, the taste test. So I will see you guys next week. Can we talk about pure magic here? Look how beautiful this bundt donut came out. Oh my God. And then we have obviously the original donuts size, but I just thought, you know, this is cute. I love me some regular donut figures, but I also love me some bundt donut figures. Bundt. Oh dear, bundt. I meant to say bundt. I'm sorry, y'all. So let's give this a try. I'm so excited because honestly, it just smells so good. Oh man, I can smell, I just want to say, it's just, I smell this and it's like gingery, cinnamony. I smell that maple syrup, and I smell that apple extract. Oof. Okay. Oh my God. The only thing I'm missing is a cup of coffee on the side. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video of the day. Happy fall. Enjoy these little donuts, and I will see you next week. Ciao.